Hi, today I would like to give you our Japanese first reaction to one of the most controversial international news regarding the Minister of Economy of the current Japanese government cabinet member. His name is Mr. Akazawa Ryosei Akazawa, the Minister of Economy. So he had a presentation. And he explained that it was a really tough discussion. So he was representing the Japanese team for discussing the ongoing biggest issue of tariff between Japan and USA. So he has been nominated as one of the official delegate representing Japanese government to have a negotiation between US government regarding ongoing tariff issue. So, and then, as you know, Japan has been ending up that, we are going to have 15% for entire imported items, including one of the automobile Japanese car, which has been one of the biggest business issue. Because before the final deal, it was said that the tariff will be like a 25% or larger. So, and then actually, it has settled down. It has settled down to be 15%. However, many people are still arguing about 15% if 15% is appropriate or not, because previously it was just a 2.5% before the Trump tariff strategy, initial strategy, and like explained, it increased to like a 25%, and then due to the negotiation, it looked like the success, the big deal. However, many people are still suspicious about what is good and what was good and what was not, and because 15%, it seems lower than the average of the international tariffs made by U.S. government. So looking at other countries like Mexico, Canada, or European countries, so the average tariff will be higher than the 50%. So 15% must be the one of the lowest category. So, however, previously it was 2.5%, and also Japan, and according to the U.S. government official announcement, Japan will have to the big investment toward the U.S. economy, and 90% of the profit will go with U.S. not for, and only the remaining 10% of profit of the big investment will go to Japan. So totally, even though we haven't had any detail, what will be the biggest investment? It's like 8 or 9 billion US dollar or more, and far below the imagination that we can, because the benefit we will have, the reducing the tariff for automobile, will be smaller than the loss we will have, the biggest investment, another biggest investment to the U.S. economy. So those kind of arguments have been still discussed within the Japanese people, including especially for the expertise and business influencers. And this time, Mr. Akaza had a presentation that. So it was very tough negotiation, and actually he appealed, and he mentioned himself as he has been lower rank compared to the people whom he was discussing, and he was just he has a minister of the current government cabinet member. However, he is not obviously the prime minister country, and he is not a vice president, vice prime minister of Japan, and he is not like within number 3 or number 5 in terms of the top key important persons in organization in the current cabinet member. So because for Japanese people, we never ever heard his name before. And his name suddenly popped up from nowhere, suddenly, and we had a news that Mr. Akazawa was nominated as the official Japanese delegate to have the strong negotiation with the U.S. government. So, and then his name has been spreading and or nationwide in Japan. So, but still, and every time he had a discussion, he had a face-to-face meeting with U.S. government. He made a report. And he posted his photo on his SNS, like shaking his hands with a U.S. government team member and official, international representative from the U.S. government, Radonick, or other key members for the negotiation of the tariff from the U.S. government. And he repeatedly has mentioned that he has been lower, much lower rank compared to the person whom he had discussion. And this time, after he made a final deal, he came back to Japan and he had a presentation. He had a press conference and saying it was his tactical strategy, to say he was lower. He has been lower rank. So he needed to show very like moderate and modesty and humbly. It's like a typical Japanese way. He explained that it was the one kind of the typical Japanese way to proceed the negotiation. So you have to show you cannot show you are the upper level, you are upper rank. Every time you had to show yourself as a lower rank. And however, behind the surface, you have to be very, very strong. And he had been criticized by opposition party that as a delegate he must be very, very small. So the Prime Minister of Japan should have been to the USA to negotiate directly with the President Donald Trump, the President of the USA. So that's why this time he made excuses and he made explanation. However, still many people have been suspicious about what the final deal we have, what the final deal we have. So what are the 15% and what is the biggest success for us to have? And it's not so clear, super clear. It's not transparent, and many people still have pointed out that the big investment, we shouldn't have the big investment.